What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix for round number 11 of the season. And straight away, as you just saw on screen, and you can just see how the sort of progress chart is developing with cars around us in the midfield in terms of the R&D upgrade battle. And so far we're looking pretty good after 3 consecutive upgrades. We did make a big jump to catch Renault up, and we haven't got an upgrade for this race, but I am planning a big upgrade for the end of this episode. I'm talking about an ultimate one, so I do urge you to stay tuned for that one at the end of this episode. But as of late, we've been on a crazy run of races with some really good results, and the last race at Silverstone was absolutely incredible. If you did not watch it, then I urge you to go check it out by clicking on the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. There was a race with 2 safety cars, and it created an absolute crazy race for my home Grand Prix, and a result that I was very happy with. But I'm not going to spoil it anymore, but I do urge you to go check that one out. But in terms of this race weekend here at Hungary, as you can see, we got through the practice program, as we did get a green though in the qualifying performance test, because we just couldn't set a lap time fast enough, as I was using an old power unit. I was sort of using a mix of 1 and 2 in terms of power units, but for qualifying, we are going to switch out to the slightly newer Power Unit 3, a bit more competitive here, and hopefully we can do a bit of a better job and try and get a better result. But based off our practice, I was conservative going into this race, because this is a track that doesn't traditionally suit Williams, and it hasn't in the past. So sort of like, you know, past races, we just got to keep, you know, our options open and going a little bit cautiously just in case things don't work out for us, but also trying to find the limit of the track. And straight away in Q1, we're currently on lap on super soft compound tyres, 1.1 down the middle sector, and we crossed the line for P5 behind a soft tyre running Daniel Ricciardo, and that lap would be enough to see us through. However, Massa got knocked down P16, so very shocking signs early on that Massa could not have the pace to get through, and I got through in P11. So straight away I was a little bit concerned that we might be on the back foot with the pace. So in Q2 I tried to get through on the soft compound tyres, but I didn't really set a great lap, and I was P5 at the time, but we would drop down to P10, so I had to go out on the super soft compound tyres and respond. And so far we're on for an improved lap here. As you can see, a couple of tenths up already in the first sector, now going into the second sector, and so far the lap's off to a great start. We need to try and get out of the elimination zone. Now going for the chicane there, I make a mistake and I overcook it. I push too hard and I lose the back end, and with 30 seconds or so on the clock I overdid it, and that's going to be the end of the session, unfortunately. And we just dipped into P11 then. Eventually though, we would drop down to P12, so we are out of qualifying after a mistake on our crucial lap, and we are going to have to start the race tomorrow from P12. But based off of qualifying, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not really, I wasn't feeling confident with the pace of the car. I thought I was in trouble. So what I did was, seeing as what happened to Massa, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to actually get a fresh power unit, because I've said before, we're not looking for reliability, we're just looking for overall performance this season and get some results. So we're going to open up power unit number 6 and debut that for the season, and we're going to take a penalty and go to the back of the grid. Now there was one mistake with this, and you guys are going to, I'll quickly tell in the comments, you're going to hate me for it. I didn't take a gearbox because I simply forgot to take one, so bear that in mind for the rest of the video, that I just simply forgot to take a gearbox at the time. But we're going to switch back to power unit 3 though for the race, and try and see what we can do with this old power unit. But the race has definitely turned interesting now, so it's going to be pretty much a last question mark challenge. So without further ado, let's jump straight into Sunday for round number 11 of the season for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Okay, here we are then on the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix, starting from last place on the grid, and obviously taking an engine penalty after qualifying, after a pretty poor performance, and realising that this track probably doesn't suit our car that much, and I decided to take a 6th power unit, and I'm not actually using that engine though. I'm using the 3rd one that I used in the first part of the weekend, because I just want to have that extra power unit for the rest of the season, and I'll continue using this one now for this particular race. But like I said at the start, you know, we're not looking for reliability, we're just looking to try and, you know, perform, get R&D points, and just try and improve the performance of the car. So I don't really care if I have to take a couple of engine penalties over the season. But nonetheless, after a pretty dodgy qualifying, we are going to start from the back now. Engine penalties applied, and it's overcast conditions, however it is going to clear up, and we're starting from the back of the grid. So in terms of the race strategy, you can see on screen right now, we did have a recommended 1 stop, but the 1 stop was actually the exact same time as the 2 stop below. So I thought to myself, you know what, just for comfort, I'm going to switch the strategies up a bit, and I might still do what the strategy is below, but I'll sort of, you know, see how the tyres perform, because I don't trust my car to do what this one does because my tyres tend to wear a little bit more. So I've put the 2 soft stints in theory at the start with a super soft at the end, overshooting the car a little bit by half a lap just in case. So hopefully that'll work out for us, but I'm definitely going a bit more aggressive on the 2-stop compared to the 1-stop. So hopefully we can make this first stint last. Depending on how long this soft tyre lasts, then obviously we can maybe run super softs at the end. So hopefully that'll work out for us. But other than that, we're now going to jump into the race for round number 11 for the season for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. We're going to get ready for the 5 red lights. Just try and have a good start here. Lights out and away we go for Hungary. It's a really good start, actually, reacting to the lights quite nicely. We're going to use a little bit of rich mix here to try and give us a bit of a run into turn 1. And hopefully they'll give us a bit of momentum. Verline's on just in front of us. We're going to try and spot a pocket of a space in the brake zone here. And we're up the inside of a Renault, also on soft compound tyres in the form of Jolyon Palmer. Also Massa behind me on the same tyres, so we've already jumped my teammate here as we go into turn 3. A little bit of early braking because of Alonso. I'm trying to force my way through. I think we might be 3 wide here with Jolyon Palmer. We're going to take the inside though and just squeeze our way past. And we're up into 13th place. So great stuff so far, making our way through the traffic. Yellow flag in front. Oh, that's Perez going for a spin in the Force India. So Perez going for a spin and Ocon is leading this train. So I wonder if maybe the Force Indias have tangled here, the 2 teammates. Either way, we're now up at the P12. So we're looking good so far. Very good start to this race. Now the question is, obviously, nothing's really changed compared to qualifying. So all I can hope for is that this Williams car just handles better and performs better in race trim with the heavy fuel. Because otherwise, we could be in for a long race here today. I'm expecting the worst, and hopefully if we get a good result, then that'll be good for us. But I'm definitely not expecting good things to happen here, as we've got a little bit of argy-bargy in action going on up ahead here, as various cars going defensive still into various brake zones. And I think we might be not done just yet with P12. I think we might be making a move if we can get a good exit at this final corner. Obviously we have got some decent straight line speed, not great because I'm running pretty high aero to make up for this car's poor aerodynamics. But here we go, we're in the slipstream with Danny Kvyat here into turn 1. We're going to dabble into the rich mix a little bit just to save a bit of fuel, and we're going to pull to the inside on the Russian, on the brakes, getting the move done. Nice little late braking manoeuvre into turn 1. We're going to get the power on, and there we go, up into P11. So great move to kick things off here, and only 1 position shy of the points after starting from the back of the grid. Great start so far this race. Okay, so far feeling pretty good. DRS has now been enabled, and we're all over the back of the Haas cars here. And also there's a bit of a battle going on just in front. I think someone's going slow, maybe a car issue or something, but I think it's the Red Bull. I can't tell which one it is, but he's got a car issue and he's going a bit slowly. So it's going to sort of hold everybody up here and give us an opportunity to get some good points. But we're right now very close to Kevin Magnussen here, who's being held up by his teammate Roman Grosjean. And if I could just get some good traction out of here, then I can maybe make a move. But oh, a little bit close on the brakes there. I thought about the move for a second there, but I'm definitely feeling pretty good so far. The car feels a lot better in early on here in this race trim compared to qualifying. So this is encouraging stuff so far. Oh, Magnussen going a bit defensive into this corner here. Just they are sort of taking a bit of a very shallow line, and Magnussen and a lot of cars in front defending into that corner. So that's an opportunity for me to go on the outside maybe, but we are very close now, and DRS is enabled. The issue is everyone's got DRS on pretty much everybody here. So we've had a great exit out of the final corner on the soft compound tyres. We are going to dabble into the rich mix a little bit, but I think it's going to have to be a move on the brakes here. We are pretty close to Magnussen here, and I might just go for it because he's going to be held up by his teammate under braking, and that's exactly what we've done. A fairly straightforward move, and we've just lost the back end a bit. We've got to catch it on the exit. That's going to allow Magnussen back up my inside here. I'm going to try and look for the outside line. Is there grip around the outside of turn 3? Trying to get the power on. Magnussen still on my outside here. I'm going to give him a good old squeeze, and there we go. He just backed out of the move, and we're up into 10th place. So we're now into the points here. So that's very good for us. And now we're behind Roman Grosjean, and Hamilton has also overtaken Daniel Ricciardo, who seems to be the struggling Red Bull with issues to his car. So far, we're looking pretty good. It's just a question of trying to make the moves. And I think Hulkenberg is probably the guy we can race today. I don't know how much further into the top 7 we can go after that, but up until Hulkenberg, P8, I reckon we can race that position today. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, I'm definitely close to Grosjean now. He's definitely struggling to keep up with the guys in front. So if we can just set ourselves up for a move coming out of this corner into the chicane, that would be great. We've had some okay traction, but we're just not really close enough on the Frenchman, which is very frustrating. He's getting good traction out of there into the chicane, but you can just see the guys in front just starting to pull away here. So I really want to make the move on Grosjean as soon as possible. Okay, I think this time Grosjean won't have DRS from the car in front, so we might have an opportunity this time to make the move. Has some good traction out the final corner. We're going to go back into the rich mix, and this time Grosjean's much more vulnerable than his teammate because he doesn't have DRS. We're going to commit to the inside anyway and make the move on the brakes into the first corner. A little lock up for good measure there, but we're going to get the move done, squirt the power on, and there we go, up into P9, and that is a great way to start this race. We've now got a little bit of clean air, so the question is, can we keep up with Hamilton, Ricciardo, and Nico Hülkenberg as the Haas cars go to battle behind me? So it's time to get the hammer down and try and push hard. Okay, we've got an early stopper in the form of Lewis Hamilton, actually, so Hamilton into the pit lane. That's a very early pit stop, and actually no, it's Bottas to be fair, sorry about that, but Bottas in the pit lane as we set a personal best, 21.1, 6/10 better than our previous personal best. So let's try and keep pushing here because we've obviously got some different strategies, so we just got to keep pushing. Also though, critical that we do make this tyre last as long as possible to leave our strategy options as open as possible. Right, now Lewis Hamilton's in the pit lane. He's coming for soft compound tyres, so interesting strategies here from the AI. It looks like I can actually, I think I'm going to be able to switch my strategy on the fly and actually do 2 super soft stints. I've just got to get to lap 15 and I should be able to make it. So right now this is looking very encouraging for us. Okay, a couple more cars in the pit lane in the form of Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel. So we're still pushing on here, up into P5 now, and these tyres are still holding up pretty nicely. So we're doing a good job so far. Pace is still very good, and I'm liking how we're going so far. We could be onto something this race, I think. Okay, Nico Hülkenberg comes in. He's off of them super soft tyres, and we've managed to break DRS on Magnussen. So this is looking very good so far. I think he's got Sebastian Vettel just up behind him. So Vettel will be making a move soon on the Danish driver. But for now, we've got a little bit of breathing space, unless Vettel gets past straight away, which I think he might have done. So Vettel will probably soon be on the back of me. Okay, here comes Sebastian Vettel all over the back of me. He's going to open up the DRS and pull to the inside, and he's probably going to overtake me. I mean, I'm keeping my own here in a straight line, to be fair, but Sebastian's probably going to make the move. I'm going to go around the outside of turn 1, but there you go. The grip on the fresh tyre just makes a huge difference, and he's got double DRS, so that's Sebastian up into P4, but we're going to keep going here. We're doing a good job, and I was only a couple of tenths off my personal best that lap, so we just got to keep pushing. Tyres are still holding up, so it's critical that we just keep focused and stick to our strategy guns. Okay, Sebastian Vettel fastest up at the Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon is in for medium tyres, so he's probably going to the end of the race. That might be an option for me strategy-wise and go for the one stop. The issue is I don't really want to go on a slow tyre like that because I think it's going to be a very boring long race. Like I just don't think the car is going to work on the slower tyres. I mean, so far I'm having a lot of joy on this soft tyre, so I want to really go softer, to be fair, and try a different strategy, maybe go into the super softs and just try and be aggressive with it for a change. So we'll see. I've got a couple laps before I pit, so depending on the situation, I may or may not. Yellow flag. I think Stoffel Van Dorn just retired from the race, but no safety car triggered from it, so he's out of this race. But so far, we are in P4, and we've got the strategy options open, which is good for us. So we can just keep doing our lap times, and we can take it in a couple laps time in terms of what decision we do. Okay, I'm going to come in this lap. I've decided I'm going to commit to the super soft because I've got Verstappen behind, also on mediums, but realistically, I don't have the pace if I'm going to be on the same tyre as the AR. I can maybe match them, but I'm not going to have the overall pace to be faster than them. So I may as well go for something different here and just, you know, pump in lap time. So we're going to come in for the super soft compound tyres, and there'll be 2 stints of these. Hopefully, I think the second, there should be 2 fresh sets, even though, if not, the second one will be scrubbed, but it won't be that worn. So a nice quick stop onto super softs, and we can just now get on our way and pump in some lap time. So right now we're down to P10. Hulkenberg's going to come by, and he was the guy in front of us. He's also on super softs again, so he's going to be the man we've got to catch, and rejoining in P11 is not too bad. We are going to come out ahead of Magnussen as well, so it's now time to basically get the gloves off, the shackles are off, and it's time to push on these tyres now and have a very enjoyable 10 laps of time trial laps before we come in again for another set of super softs, which we do have fresh. So that's very good news for us. So let's crack on with it and let's see what we can do. Right, we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane, Massa and also Jolyon Palmer, so we're now back up into 9th place. Let's keep pushing here. We are catching Hulkenberg pretty quickly already. We are very close to Nico Hülkenberg here. I've got a great run on the German. We're going to make the move on the brakes up the inside. I've got some great pace here. Hülkenberg locks up and we're straight past him. So his superstars must be struggling a bit for grip and overall tyre wear, but we're flying around this circuit now and I'm going to crank up to rich mix and do a couple of rich mix laps, as we are now in clean air and we've got to make the most of it. So let's crank it up, let's push hard now and see what we can do. As we do a personal best, 1 minute 20 point dead. I've got to be at least in the low 1 minute 19s to really be competitive around here. Valtteri Bottas in the pit lane, off of those soft compound tyres, 1 minute 19.2, that's the sort of lap time I'm talking about. We're in the mix here, we're doing some really good lap times. Right, more cars in the pit lane, Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane for their final stops. So we just got to keep doing the lap times here. Like I said, it's just a question of consistency, and Hulkenberg will also be on another stop as well. So I think we'll be floating around 7th place once this race all sort of stabilises at the moment. And if we get P7 around here after the qualifying disaster, I'll be very happy. But let's just see how things shake out, and let's not get too ahead of ourselves just in case. Right, I'm going to make a late call to actually come into the pit lane 1 lap earlier. These tyres have lasted very nicely, and that's why I think they will last 1 more extra lap no problem in the final stint. I just want to get onto the fresh rubber earlier and really be able to push in that final stint. So we've really maximised the pit entry there and hitting the speed limit. Hamilton's going to be the one that's going to fly past us now any second, but Ricciardo's on soft tyres, so he might be a target for us if we're good enough in this final stint. Also, Bottas is on super softs as well. He's going to be one we're going to be racing very soon. He's going to be coming by really soon. And here we go, Bottas just next to me now, my left-hand side. So there's Valtteri, and we're going to be right behind him. So basically, I think I'm going to be following Valtteri here, and we're probably going to both maybe catch up to the back of Ricciardo. So there is a possibility here of gaining 2 more places this race. So right now, P8, this is where we're at least at worst where we're going to finish, because we've done all our stops now. So let's try and get the hammer down in this final stint, and let's see if we can make anything else happen and finish any higher up the grid. Okay, Hamilton has car issues. So apparently that Mercedes is not running right, so he could be dropping through the order here and maybe into the clutches of Ricciardo possibly, and those two could have a little bit of a squabble. So this is very good. So far, I'm actually faster than Bottas on this tyre, so, and I'm not even using rich mix yet, so this is very encouraging, and I might be able to make a pop this lap if I'm close enough. Okay, Bottas comes in, so he obviously couldn't make it to the end on those tyres, and he's got to do 1 more stop. So we're now up at the P7 this race, and that's going to be our best position where we finish. And we're now going to go into rich mix, and we're going to absolutely floor it, and we'll see what we can do. Raikkonen just rejoined also just in front of us, so this is anyone's game right now, and this could be any finishing position possible if we really push hard. So let's give it some, and let's try and get some more points. Personal best 118.5, really good lap times, and Raikkonen, Ricciardo and Hamilton are all within a couple of tenths of each other on the minimap. You can just see it just a second there. So they're all squabbling for position. Hamilton now down the P6 with car issues, and Ricciardo is holding up Raikkonen. So we've got to really catch up to this battle as soon as possible. We've got a chance here of finishing inside the top 5. I feel like Lewis has resolved his car issues now because he's picked up his pace. I'm still a little bit faster than him, but I'm definitely not catching him as fast as I once was. And Hamilton actually comes in. So Hamilton maybe with car issues, being forced to come in, just like Bottas coming in and not being able to make the super softs last. So we're going to gain P6 from this, and the question is, can we catch Ricciardo in the remaining 5 laps? The gap is at 5 seconds. Can we do it? Okay, so Sebastian Vettel has won at Hungary, and I believe Raikkonen is going to join him in 2nd place. But more importantly, from P20 on the grid, it looks like we are going to come home in P6. So really good performance here today, and beating both of the Silver Arrows and a Force India, and overall very good. The only issue I've spotted is that my gearbox is on 49% wear, and we've got to do 1 more race with it. I know you guys have been screaming in the comments, why didn't I change that with the engine, but I simply did not realise. But either way, we'll do all that in the next race. We're going to come through though for P6 in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Brilliant result, and overall a big recovery on the Sunday. To say we didn't have to pace in low fuel qualifying mode yesterday, that was a big turnaround, and the car felt much better on Sunday compared to Saturday for some reason. I didn't do any like setup tweaks or anything, but the car just worked, and overall, I mean, I can't really complain because it was just great. Everything worked well for us. The car was just absolutely untouchable, and really happy with the performance. I'm glad we went with the strategy that we did. That strategy is definitely the one to go for, and it definitely suited how the car drove in that race, and overall, it was the right decision to take. I really didn't want to go on that medium tyre because I didn't really see much benefit with it, and overall, I enjoyed myself. You know, lots of good pace and time trial laps, but overall, that was the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're now going to move into the final race results. Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Max Verstappen takes a brilliant second place, with Ocon taking third around a track that wouldn't traditionally suit the Force India, and he started P9 on the grid, so a really good performance there from Ocon and also Verstappen. Those guys going for the one-stop strategy on the mediums. Then Kimi Raikkonen, the man on pole, down in P4, missing out on the podium, and Daniel Ricciardo in P5, then myself in 6th place, starting from last place. Kevin Magnussen also a good recovery from P12 on the grid, and Fernando Alonso also 8th place for McLaren, and also on the one-stop strategy, just like Kevin Magnussen. Julian Palmer also scoring points there, and finally Valtteri Bottas in P10 getting the last point, with Massa just missing out. And then further down the order, Stoffel Van Dorn, the only DNF of the race, with Lewis Hamilton down in P14 after having car issues in the latter stages of that race. But overall, very happy with that race. I don't think the one stop would have worked because I didn't like the medium tyres that much. I'm not like that AI, I'm not consistent like them, so I think it's better that I stayed off that tyre. But then if we look at the driver standings after that race, we actually take 5th place and overtake Lewis Hamilton in the driver standings. Esteban Ocon overtakes his teammate, but we're in 5th place, and that is a brilliant achievement for us in the driver standings, ahead of both of the Silver Arrows and my former team from last season. So really making a good push this season, and getting in between the two Ferraris, or getting in between the 4 big boys, should I say, with 2 Ferraris and 2 Force Indias in front, and 2 Mercedes and 2 Red Bulls behind. So really positive stuff for us there. And then in the constructors, everything pretty much remains the same, and we're 20 points clear of Red Bull, who are catching us slowly. But we're now going to move into the laptop and purchase an upgrade. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this. We can finally purchase some upgrades. Now, I am split between doing an aero upgrade for raw performance. This would take 4 weeks to arrive, or do I go and really improve the tyre, which is something that we do also really need. I'm tempted for both, and I really don't know which one to go for. So I'm going to sort of decide on the spot, to be honest, but I think I'm going to go for the aero because I just want the performance on the car, to be honest. So we're probably going to go for this one here, and hopefully that will arrive from Malaysia, fingers crossed. And we've still got 250 points left, so we can start working towards getting the rear wing upgrade, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm sort of hoping we maybe get a sponsor bonus. That would really help us out. But other than that, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, then please do slap a like on the video. Also subscribe if you're new to the channel around here for future F1 content. Also, please be sure to check out these videos on screen right now if you have missed them, and also please be sure to check out GT Omega and the links down below. Use the code TOM97 for a 5% discount on any of your purchases. But other than that, guys, a massive thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.